Now what I'm going to do on this video is I'm pretty much going to, two things. I'm going to get 2 coats of clear on Vlad's, this is the lower fairing of his Suzuki Trackbike that we patched and tried to fix as much as we could. It was pretty well damaged when he brought it over here, but let me just explain what I'm going to try to do. So let me just explain what I had in mind here. This part takes a tremendous beating on a track bike. This was all full of stone chips, and Val had a little bit of an accident getting it on and off the trailer a few times, maybe more than once, a few times. But I thought it was a perfect candidate for a new project that I'm going to be starting soon. Now, one of the things I want to do, and I want to explain this, although I'll try to cover it more, but when we were at Larry Dettori's memorial ride, I saw a couple of Ducatis that were covered with the stuff they wrap cars with, but clear. Now, the idea of wrapping this part, I want to put the clear on first, of course. The idea of wrapping this part is when this will be damaged at the end of next year, assuming Vlad does a whole track season, which he does. This is going to be all full of nicks and dings, and as many of our bike parts are. The parts on my R1, the front where the 2 pieces come together, there's a little triangle piece that I've painted 6 times already, and I'm getting sick of painting it. But anyway, beside the point, I was thinking of this. Dave Midgley offered to get me a sample of the 3M material that he's used. That material that he's used is perfect for this kind of a cover. It's like the clear material that they use on the cars, on the front of the high-performance cars. So what my first thought was, I'll do some part to see how the material works. This would be a good candidate. Most of it's flat. It has a little bit of a wrap in the front. I think we could do this in one piece. All the little parts on my bike, where you put your foot up over the seat, I tend to scratch it. The front of any sport bike up in the front, where it sits right behind the tire, takes a complete beating. And I thought what would be real neat is every so often you can do it right on the bike. You can just peel that piece off and put a new piece on, take the heat gun, shrink it on. Hopefully that's going to all be possible. But tonight, the deal is tonight, and I'm going to be working late on this tonight. I want to get the clear on this because I want the paint to dry for a few days. I won't be getting the vinyl material for about a week. So I want the paint to dry, and then I want to do some smaller parts, but this is going to be one of the parts, will be actually one of the first parts that we wrap with this clear material, depending on how it works out. And see, here's the good thing, because I'm starting from ground zero. I'm not starting having wrapped cars and furniture and whatever. I'll be making every mistake you can make, but I'll be able to share it, and we'll just leave the video camera running. And then if you decide you want to do one of these clear plastic things and you're not comfortable doing it, you can go buy the material, bring it over, and I'll have the tools to do it. So that's the immediate goal right now. So just my quick thought here, and these are the parts of the bike. This little lower thing takes a complete beating. The bottom of the fairing, complete. No matter how you ride, there's always stone chips. The front of the fairing. So I'm just looking at each bike individually and thinking, what I'm going to have a sample of that material within a week, and it may be some very interesting stuff that we're going to be able to do. Now for this bike, I have several different seats, and I have 2 of these back pillions. I don't have any passenger seat at all, but I have made from scratch 2 pillions. And both of them, no matter how careful I am, every once in a while I'll just get a scratch on it. And so I'm thinking that part would come right off. It's carbon fiber, so it's no big deal. I can put a piece of the clear plastic on it. And as I'm looking at every bike here has something that could use a little protection. Now this one, I guess, even though we have the grip pads here, putting this is where your leg is rubbing, maybe a little piece of clear there. I don't know. And I won't know until I start experimenting. And since I want to share all the mistakes I make, which is the whole idea of these videos anyway, and when I look at YouTube and I see how many people have shared what they've learned doing cars and motorcycles both, I'm more than happy to add my knowledge into that. And anything I discover along the way. And before I get to painting here, it's so late it doesn't even matter. This is a 175 CB 175 1972 Honda, belongs to Ray. And Mark's parts are ready to pick up. Of course, that repair was a miracle. But this is going to be a separate thing, and I'm thinking maybe these side covers, once they're done, a piece of that vinyl wrap on top of them would keep them looking brand new, and anytime you scratched them, put a new piece of vinyl on. So there's a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of, that's the whole thing. I don't even know, at this point, I don't know what I could do to each one of the bikes, other than the obvious thing, the front part of the fairing, in this case, the front part. Again, I don't know. I know this one I have two front fairings, when one was all chipped up after a very short amount of time. Another idea I had, and I'm open to ideas if anybody else gets some more ideas. I did the carbon fiber windshield. I wonder if putting a piece of that clear on top of that make it even shinier. Pretty shiny now. But by the time I'm done, I will have figured out some useful thing, and I will pass on, of course, anything I learn and all the mistakes. So, without further ado, let me get Vlad's part in clear. I wanted to put about 30 seconds of video on here for Dave Midgley, who is supplying the material. He, of course, raises fish just like I do, cares for fish, and we had an algae bloom in this pond this summer that was unbelievable. And thanks to some of the information he gave me, it looks like it's getting better and better every day. The 5-star is the brand of clear we've been using for the last few years with some relatively good results. It's a very easy product to use. It seems to buff out beautifully. It's very durable. But again, stone chips, there's no clear in the world that's going to stop it if you pick up a stone at 100 miles an hour off the front wheel. So anyway, we're hoping the clear is going to add a nice smooth base, and that the vinyl will go right on top of it eventually. But again, this is an experimental time of learning how to use this material, and we should have it within a week. We're going to wait about 20 minutes, give it a second coat. That should be a really good base for the vinyl. This is going to be a very interesting experiment with this part. Well, the next step on this is let it dry 24 hours, the minimum, although it's probably going to dry a week now, because we do need to get the material from 3M. And I'll do a couple little experiments on my parts just to get familiar with using the material, but I have some high hopes that this is going to add something to our motorcycling. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll join us for some of these future projects. That 175 Honda, looking forward to doing that one. And we're already getting ready for our winter restoration season. Again, thanks for watching.